I am Ocean Master.
I am tired.
That's about
it. For whatever reason, still having trouble coming up with names. Patrick Wilson is the name I was trying to think of. I was just going to say Patrick Wilson.
With slicked back hair.
I am William Dafoe in a top knot.
Hey, two shows in a row got Willem Dafoe in there.
That's right. He loves the water.
He loves the water.
He loves the water. It's a known fact about Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe loves the water.
Loves the water. He's a little water baby. Is what
little
he
water
is.
Baby. Look at the little water baby.
So yeah, this is our bridging the gap.
We're bridging the gap here.
We're going from
we're coming off of Steve Zissou.
That's right.
His aquatic life,
and we're bridging the gap to Birds of Prey.
Yep.
And what meets in the middle? DC flick set in the water.
There you go.
There you have it. It's simply put.
Aquaman.
So we're revisiting Jason Momoa.
And controversial woman.
That's right.
Name redacted.
That's the name. And what was it? 2 years ago at this point? 2018 it came out?
I think yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
2018? 2018's
fun fact, my fiance is part of this review as well.
Your fiance.
My fiance.
You don't say your fiance?
You don't say my fiance. There you go.
Very good.
I think I
forgot she was on that episode, to be honest.
I know. We even have a joke in this where we talk about how she was going to be our DC affiliate.
Oh, we need to stick true to it then.
I know. I think I'm going to try and get her to watch Birds of Prey, maybe.
Cool.
And then get her on board.
Get her on it.
We haven't had her on for a while.
That's true.
I do get entertained by how you two give each other shit every time you guys are on.
Good. I guess I don't... Do I realize I'm doing it?
Probably not.
Great.
It's fun, though.
I inadvertently giving her shit.
So there you go.
I love it.
So we have a special guest for this one, at least.
Have you gone back and revisited this since it's been out?
I've wanted to. I listened back to the review for this, and I feel like I would give it more of a pass now that I've watched more dumb action a la Fast and Furious.
Sure.
But yeah, I think I'm way more critical in this review than I would be today.
Okay. All right. I have not revisited it either, but I've been.
Yeah. I think it's on HBO. I kind of want to go back and rewatch it.
I kind of want to at least check chunks of it out anyway.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the whole thing, but yeah, I'd be into it.
Yeah. So there you go.
But obviously it's not going to be before this review comes out. So
exactly.
Here it is.
It'll probably be on your deathbed. More deathbed viewing.
That is a hefty bag.
Hefty.
It's a hefty deathbed bag.
Just give me my deathbed viewing, then throw me in a hefty bag.
That's right, because I'm going to be stinky.
We're so tired and stupid and drunk right now.
So I'll just say it. Enjoy the flashback review.
Yeah, Aquaman.
Of Aquaman.
And then join us this Thursday for Birds of Prey.
That's right.
Or the emancipation of the one Harley Quinn. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's something along the lines of that.
I don't know. I'm telling you, I've heard good things about it so far.
All right.
So I'm hoping it's good.
Quit telling me so much about it.
I know. I'm probably build this up to where it's like, you said it was going to be good, you asshole. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's what I heard.
Actually, it was funny. Like in our little break, I went on Twitter just for a minute and see what was trending for me, and it was like, reactions are in of Birds of Prey, and I'm like, oh Jesus, it's just what he was saying.
So there you go. Hopefully it's good. I hope it's good.
Same. Let's make it good.
But until then, let's listen to this, what I thought was mediocre Aquaman, starting right now.
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Coming out December 21st, 2018, the year of our Lord in the North American country. With a budget of $160 to $200 million.
Jesus. Jesus jinx.
Domestically, as of Christmas,
Yeah.
has made $105.7 million.
It's on the right track.
Worldwide, already over $500 million.
Woof.
Christ.
Yes, $556.8 million.
You gonna get DC that bill?
Could be.
Better get that bill bell ready, Troy.
Oh my God, where is
You
it?
better find it before it makes a bill.
Oh my God, I need to probably
It
buy a
could
bill
be
bell.
tonight.
Oh my God, it could. Rotten Tomatoes has it 64%. IMDb has it at a 7.7 out of 10. Metacritic,
Whoa.
55%.
Whoa.
And Flick Feast, 4 out of 5 stars.
There's some really high marks for this movie.
Yeah, well, it like the main three there, kind of middling in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Flick Feast though, 4 out of 5 stars. It's pretty good.
But I would say it for like a DC movie in general, I'd say these are higher marks.
Yes. I think it's probably the highest rated DC movie that's come out.
Really? Over
rated
even
higher
over
than
Wonder
Wonder
Woman?
Woman?
Oh shit! I was kind of putting Wonder Woman in its own kind of category.
Wonder Woman's
Yeah.
actually good, so,
So
put that over.
yeah. No,
a woman, so it doesn't
everything I said is a
count.
lie just now. So besides Wonder Woman, this is probably the highest.
With the exception of the
Rated
good
one.
job that a woman can do.
Yes,
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, you're not wrong.
Molly Pop's like our DC expert. She was on for our Wonder Woman review as well.
really?
Why do I keep getting on for these? Well, that I had to
Well,
be
now
honest, like
you
a
just have
feminist.
to be on every single
Now,
one of
every
them.
time we
God
do a
damn it.
DC movie,
You've just
get
pigeonholed
ready to
yourself.
talk about Shazam.
Oh, I can't wait for Shazam. Look,
Look at
I
that.
see it.
Shazam!
Shazam!
It's even on the side of the fridge. It's the Shazam fridge.
Nice.
Ba-boom. Speak his name. Could
Oh goodness.
sultry. Molly Pop,
Yes.
being you as our guest,
Yeah.
Okay.
would you do us a blessing and summarize this movie without spoiling it?
Yeah.
Oh God. So a young, bright, mongoloid human.
All right.
Where are you going? Are you starting from the dawn of time? So man was created.
In the beginning of time, there was a fish woman and a fisherman,
Okay.
Gorbins.
and they made a fish baby.
Okay.
And that fish baby lost someone. I don't
Okay.
know how much it's spoiler. I don't
Okay.
know.
You're on the right track.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And because of that loss, he goes on to become the fish man that we know as Aquaman.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Is that it?
See,
That's it.
Great.
she's just as good as I am when it comes to these.
How do I surmise without just deep diving in
We're-
and being like, it sucks?
We rocked his. Well, don't ruin your opinion yet.
So,
So,
JT,
yeah.
Molly Pop,
Yeah.
this for all the marbles.
Oh no. There's DC snipers right outside the window waiting for us to say the wrong thing.
DC Snyders, Zach.
DC DC Snyder snipers.
So, Aquaman did come out to high box office numbers.
Yeah.
It was estimated, I think, well, I have it written down, like $120 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
Didn't hit that.
Yeah.
Did get a lot.
They got a lot.
Granted, it had a 4-day weekend, and
Yeah.
it was a holiday weekend, which surprisingly, a lot of people go to see movies on Christmas.
It's like a thing, I guess.
Hey man.
I guess they go to Chinese restaurants and go to movies. That's about the only thing.
It's the only
that's
things that
pretty
are
much
open. Yeah.
Even Walmart closes around here.
Don't expect us to hang out with our families, do you? Jesus.
But why don't we say a few good things about this movie without spoiling it? I will start. I think the action in this movie is very well done.
There are some action scenes that I very much enjoyed.
The sometimes it gets a little cluttered in a few action scenes, but I think for the most part, once the action starts kicking in, it's shot completely differently.
Yeah.
And it's very action oriented. It lets you, and it's not up close. It like pans around the scene and it's well choreographed, I think. And I think it's done really well, especially the Sicily chase.
Yeah. I'll add a little caveat, the action scenes that don't take place underwater.
Yeah, but even some of those I thought were well choreographed.
Okay.
Granted, I'm going to go into the effects, which sometimes are shoddy.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't feel like the weird CG underwater effects I fell into completely. Are you on... Can you agree with me on that?
Yeah, and then the fact that half the time they just had the guys pull their hair back because it looked like they were just sick of animating shit.
Yeah, there's so many people that are man-bunning the fuck out of this movie, where
There's
it's
at
just
least
like...
one person in every frame that has a
they're
tight
just
back.
like, look, man, we only have so much time. Just tie your
so
hair.
sick of this
Everyone's gonna tie
shit.
their hair back.
Or you're going to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when they show like Patrick Wilson's hair at the end, it's just like his hair wasn't that long. How'd they man bun it?
Well, he's got it like slicked back. I don't know how he does it. Like,
But even in the back, it still looks like a fucking bun.
he's got a little fishtail.
Looks like he like wrapped a croissant around his head.
It does. His hair is not that long at all. It's got just a little. It's like if my hair is longer than his right now.
Yeah, I know, which is weird because then they have like that weird little like
little fin.
bun, like little thin bun on the back of his head, where it's like, where'd you get all that hair if you don't have that much?
I don't know where you're finding this bun
Well,
thing. He
He had
no
like
way
a
had
thing.
a bun.
He had a thing in the
He had,
back
like,
of his head.
A little small little fin.
Yeah, even that was like too much hair than what he had.
Willem Dafoe had a
speaking-
bun.
Speaking from a woman's point of view, you need a lot of hair to pull it back.
Yeah.
And that particular style that he was wearing requires way
pomade.
more hair.
See that's why we got it. That's why we have
From
a woman expert.
woman's perspective.
We have a woman expert here.
Yeah.
From a man's perspective who likes to do his hair, I think that's just long enough.
Alrighty
Jesus
then.
Christ, Troy.
As I run my filthy fingers through my greasy hair. That's what I think. So what did you think of some of the characters in this? Starting off with, let's just start off with Aquaman.
I like Aquaman, and I like his dad quite a bit too.
Yes. That I really liked Aquadad. He's probably my favorite character in this.
Yeah, like probably I think one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing is just like that whole bar scene where he's just hanging out with his dad.
Yeah.
And then those like bikers come up and then they're just like acting really eerie and then like, can I get your autograph? And they're like, oh, okay. And then it ends up where it's like he's like kind of like annoyed with them and then they like show us like pictures as it goes throughout the night and it goes from like him being annoyed to just like partying with them. Or it's like, oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
He's just getting drunk as fuck, just hanging out with these bikers that they thought were annoying at first. I was like, I like this. I like where this is going.
Right. I like that Aquaman essentially is just Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I never thought that would work, and I think it completely does. There's some parts in this where I thought it was like maybe a bit juvenile, like in the humor aspect a little bit, but I was like, I think that's a pretty good fit. Like he's like a tough guy who doesn't want
That's
any
an
part of
idiot.
it, but it makes it believable because that's what Jason Momoa is.
Yeah, and sometimes he seems even more human than the people around him because he points out how stupid some things are sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, I would agree with you like 100% that I think Django Fett is like...
That's right, it's Django Fett.
Also, it's Moana's dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Make way, make way.
You'll never leave the island. That's the freakiest song in the whole fucking show. So, I think he showed the most compassion.
Yeah.
I believed him when he said something.
And it felt like a genuine relationship. Like,
Yeah.
they got together and, like, their first thing was like, let's go to the bar.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, let's do an ancient family tradition.
Right.
It was like, let's go get drunk.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like,
it
okay,
is-
good.
It is Maine, so, you know, I
can't
don't
do
think
much,
there's
yeah.
a lot to do in Maine
Yeah.
besides
Fish and drink. That's pretty much all
Right.
you can do in
Right.
Maine.
What I never got behind is Nicole Kidman.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean...
She's like right in the very beginning. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't buy her and I feel bad I can't remember his name. Aquadad's
Aquadad.
relationship.
Yeah.
I felt it was real. I felt one-sided in like I could believe him feeling for her, but I never felt it reciprocated really.
Yeah.
And I just don't think Nicole Kidman was in this to win
No.
this. You know what I mean? I guess from what I was reading is that she was like super stoked to be in the movie.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm just like, I don't believe you.
But I don't think she was in it enough to, like the spots that they showed them together, it wasn't enough to, like, show a relationship. It was just like, they fucking...
Yeah, but I
Maybe
believed it from
fucking-
his side, the male perspective.
Yeah, I could tell, yeah. But you spent more time with him than you did with her.
But even in the even when they were together in the first 5 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
I was like, I get this from you, but not from Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman.
Well, she was weird.
I would also like to point out that there really isn't a lot of movies where Nicole Kidman actually seems like a lovable character.
She just has a hateable face. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, she always kind of comes off like cold-hearted and bitchy. Like even in movies that I love, like Moulin Rouge, she's kind of a fucking stone cold bitch. So
I agree. Like, I don't like Nicole Kidman very much.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever
I
seen
think she
anything
can
else.
be good. It's just a matter of...
as a stone cold bitch.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, it was hard for her because, like, she had to play it up as, like, she had to both be, like, I don't know where I am, and also, like, fall in love with this guy. Like, it's hard to play up both, I think.
Stockholm
I
syndrome.
think for a good actress, it should be not so hard. But
Look, man,
I don't know what you want.
what do you want from me?
I don't
Die Hard's
know.
a Christmas movie.
What about Patrick Wilson in this? He plays kind of the foil for Aquaman.
Sure, I'm going to save you some time here. Everyone else is a fucking robot in this movie.
See,
Yeah.
I agree with your shortcut, but I think Patrick Wilson is better than the other ones.
He has some moments where you can kind of see where he's coming from, but he never plays it up where it looks like he has any kind of emotion besides, like, stoic, we must do this.
Are we talking
Sure.
about Black Mantis?
No,
No,
we're talking
the
about
Ocean.
Ocean Master.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, this movie suffers from, like, Star Wars prequel syndrome, where, like, you could take, besides Jason Momoa and his dad, you could take any character and be like, what's the personality trait of this character?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, stoic.
yeah, right.
Like, nobody ever, like, sets himself apart as, like, a character in terms of, like, a personality trait or even, like, a hobby or something that sets them aside from everybody else. Everyone else is, like, very stone-faced and set on their goal and what they must achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And you never really get to know anyone in terms of, like, what makes them a character or a person. Like, it seems like everyone's a fucking robot in this.
They attempt to on a few people, but I might bring that up when we jump into spoilers. But do you have anything else to say before we get into spoilers? Really?
Not really. I would say if you're gonna see this, I don't think you need to see it in the theaters.
Do a matinee.
Or maybe a matinee if you're really into it, but, like, I don't know. Like, there were some fun moments, but I was not really... There's a lot of explanation. Like, when I brought up last week about Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, where I was like, I felt like I was, like, not, like, someone that was on the outside looking in. This made me feel even more like someone that was on the outside looking in, because they bring up a lot of shit where it was like, huh? And I was like, I don't give a...
Yeah,
Oh,
but
fucking-
in this they try to explain it, But what I'm gonna follow up with that is like an explanation.
And they try to explain it when like they're like talking underwater. Like I hated their effect they would play to talk underwater. Like sometimes they would like, start yelling and they have like that weird echoey sound when they're talking underwater.
Weird distortion to
so
it.
they'd be like, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't fucking hear you.
I fell into it, but there were a few characters even later on. Once I was into the movie, I was like, I didn't catch what you said.
I listened to like a review where they talked about like how like no bubbles come up when they're talking, so it's like, so is this like in the same universe as SpongeBob SquarePants?
To be honest, I couldn't understand anything Dijon Hot Soup said as that fish guy.
It's the fish man.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, luckily he like died like right away.
Yeah. So anyway, let's just jump into spoilers then. So what I was gonna follow up with that is like, so they start a lot of things in this movie, and I think it's to its detriment because they try to cram a lot in here.
Yeah.
They try to do an origin story, which I expected.
Yeah.
They start a Black Manta storyline.
Yeah.
They start an Ocean Master storyline. They also try to wedge that there's multiple kingdoms of Atlantis in here and try to explain all of that.
Yeah.
Also for a quest to a sacred trident or whatever. They're all trying to do this at the same time, as well as tell two love stories between Nicole Kidman and Aquadad and Mera and Aquaman.
Yeah.
It's a lot they're trying to do, and sometimes I feel that.
Yeah.
Because I wish they would have spent more time with certain things.
Yeah. My review is like it's 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. Emphasis on the shit.
Yeah.
See, I don't feel like it was a shit movie though.
I mean,
I had fun with this.
I did not hate this as much as Venom, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I like this more than Venom.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know, like a lot of the people in this didn't even feel like they were like acting to actually like make it believable. It was like a lot of it felt like they were going through the motions.
I agree. I felt like Nicole Kidman was like that. I also felt Amber Heard was like that.
Yeah.
And even sometimes Jason Momoa felt like it was just like his first take, and they just kept it in.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah.
I've seen fifth graders do better.
Holy shit. Hot take.
Even like Willem Dafoe, like he just seemed like a weird choice.
I wanted Willem Dafoe to like be more Willem Dafoe-y, and it was just like he was just like, no, tone it down, Willem. We just need you to be the lackey. We just need you to be this guy. They even kind of like jump into the middle of when he's like training Arthur, where it's like, so where did he come from? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
He just like appears.
They just start out of nowhere, where it's like, oh, so you're training me to be an Atlantean? Oh, okay, I'm just a kid. I didn't know any of this shit. Now you're here. You're an Atlantean showing me how to be this powerful warrior. Okay. I guess I'm on board.
I would be curious how there's never a conversation between Aquadad and William Dafoe. Like, I as a parent would, well, not as a parent, but I would think as a parent,
apparently,
you would be like, who the fuck are you and why are you talking to my kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you giving him this weapon and showing him how to stab me with it?
Like, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
there's just no Aquadad.
Yeah.
Like-
well, he's busy running that lighthouse.
Yeah.
Like when I said last week that like Into the Spider-Verse should have been 2 movies, like Aquaman should have been like 6 movies.
Oh my god.
It could have been because
so much shit.
They really mashed together. So in 2011, stick with me, Molly.
Oh god.
They launched the New 52 universe in DC in the DC comic books or whatever.
Yeah.
And Jeff Johns, who co-wrote this movie, took over Aquaman and actually made the title very good, the best it's been in a long time. Mm-hmm. But they pretty much took his large run that he did and put it all in this movie, where he did have like 6 different arcs.
Yeah.
That they all like that whole trench thing is its own separate arc in the books, where it's like a horror themed, which I was kind of glad to see James Wan jump into like a horror theme for this movie, but it was just like a small chunk that I'm like, it was fun, a fun foil to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
but it really didn't do anything.
Yeah, like my two favorite action scenes would probably be like the village in Italy and the trench when they're like they have to like keep lighting the flares so that the fucking
good.
like weird squid people won't eat them.
Yeah.
On the way down, because it was terrifying. They just show like so many of those fucking things just
Hordes.
on their ass, and then it's like the only reason they're staying back is because there's this light, and they're like scared of light. Where it's like that's pretty fucking intense.
Yeah.
And they'd have these weird waves where they just like swim past them and then just kind of like move around them, where it's like it looks like bats that are like kind of like going through your hair, but it's like actually like giant like squid people that are about ready to eat you, and then they see like a fire and they like go away real quick. Like I thought all that stuff was cool, but it was like, all right, then what are you gonna do after that? We're in the center of the earth now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
fucking
that
know.
was the biggest, dumbest fucking jump. I definitely feel like I could have spent a whole movie just deep diving all these different races and exploring like this underwater civilization, and instead they just crammed it into the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, actually, when they
brine
get
people.
to the Sahara, I was like, I'm interested in this now. Like, more than I was the previous chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
Because they kind of do, like, a weird globe-traveling Indiana Jones type thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like this. I could
Yeah.
sit there and, like, go through all of these kingdoms. If that was just that movie, I would have fun with that. If it was just a Black Manta storyline and they fleshed out him, I think I would like that.
I would have loved like a supernatural Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade type thing where it's just Arthur Curry and his dad. Like his dad just happens to like just get stuck in like some kind of journey where they have to go through and do all this stuff. Where like his dad is like the one that's like, this is pretty fucked up, son. So we gotta do.
Want to
it,
have a
Dad.
beer, son?
Yeah. Like, because I was digging the dad more than anybody, but it's like
Yeah.
you get Mara and she's just like, her idea of being witty is just insulting him.
Oh
or it's
my
like,
God.
well, you're gonna fuck him later. So it's like, so what does it say about you? You're talking about how dumb and idiotic he is, but it's like, but I'm still gonna fuck him.
You're such an idiot. Hands touch,
Yeah.
glare
oh my
at
God.
your chest.
They do so many like we're falling in love scenes where it's like, oh, did our hands touch? Oh my God, I think I'm in love with you now.
And
Yeah.
it was so like high
Chelsea-
school juvenile too. Like
Yeah.
Chelsea, like, audibly scoffed at some of those. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's-
I
yeah.
know. Okay. But yeah, I couldn't get into Amber Heard and Momoa's chemistry at all.
Yeah.
Like
'cause
Chelsea
there
said
was
it.
none.
I know, and Chelsea said it like right at the probably around the halfway point of the movie. She like elbowed me. She's like, they have no chemistry, and I'm like,
None.
and I was kind of like, I didn't really pay attention because I'm like, they're gonna fall in love and blah 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 blah. So I was kind of like waiting for it to happen, but then I just paid attention to it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care about any of these two like
Yeah.
getting together.
Well, it was like Ariel trying to fuck like I don't know.
Prince Eric,
No, he's nowhere near Prince Eric.
Flounder,
Yeah, pretty much.
Sebastian.
Yeah, I wanted to see Prince Eric and Flounder get together at the end of The Little Mermaid. I fucking love you, Flounder.
But yeah, so
But he literally looks like Ariel. Like there was no.
yeah, Chelsea didn't like the bright red hair. I mean, she has it in the book, so I'm like, it didn't bother me, I guess. But she's a separate subspecies of humanity, so I'm like, man, they got red hair, whatever. I don't.
All
care.
of the all of that
for green uniform.
all that fucking explanation of Atlantis was like, it felt like Black Panther but way dumber.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
like the vibranium shit was kind of dumb. This was like way dumb. Like they didn't even like give themselves a chance to like do anything vibranium-esque. It was just like technology.
Yeah, and vibranium is a MacGuffin itself. 'Cause
Yeah,
it can do anything.
But their
whatever.
MacGuffin was even lazier. It was just like technology.
And it
We had
explodes.
technology that exploded and made us breathe underwater and turn us into fish people.
Right.
I mean,
Like,
Chelsea.
even if they deep dove it and said, you know, this chemical reaction forced evolution or something like that, I'd buy that more than
Right.
just explosion.
Right. I mean, it's a comic movie, right? So you have to like have a little bit of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
But then Chelsea was like talking to me on the way home, and she was like, "So they brought up in the movie that Atlantis sunk when people still thought the Earth was flat, and that's really not that long ago. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's 1,000 years, that's like Jesus was around 1,000 years before that.
Yeah.
And so it's really not all that long where people have devolved into crustacean people.
Yeah, that was
or
weird too.
Weird trench people.
Where it's like, yeah, we're not like devolving into bear people or like snake
that we
people.
know
Yeah,
about.
or snake people.
Yeah.
So why are like people under the ocean more susceptible to devolve into other creatures
In a
They
short
devolve
amount
or
of time.
Evolve.
Yeah.
They said devolve in the movie because some of them devolved into creature, like the trench people.
yeah.
And others, I guess you
or
could
the
say
crab people they fight at the end.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so interested in those crab people. I'm like, how and why? It was like deep diving the Dwarvish culture in like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, I just want to know.
But
I want to know
see,
everything.
If the movie was about like that weird exploration of stuff, you could deep dive
Yeah.
into that stuff. But you can't. You just like get the gist of it. Being
Yeah.
like,
Oh, cool.
There's
They're
crab
crabs.
people. There's a bunch of Zoidbergs at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, pretty much. But like this movie pisses me off because it's another one. It feels like another one of those where it's like Game of Thrones, right? Where they
Yeah.
just take like the shit from Game of Thrones, where it's like, yeah, but that's like after like 3 seasons when you've gotten to know everybody and you do shit like that. But it's like, no, you take all these cultures and have them fight each other. But
No.
but in Game of Thrones, it's where it's like you know all the cultures and you are actually invested in why they're fighting. But it's like, no, crab people, fish people, they're fighting. Get into it.
George R.
Get
R.
into
Martin
it.
took an entire 1,500-page book to introduce you to a family that he kills.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in. And you're
Jeez.
trying to do it in a 2.5-hour movie. Like, no.
But shit like that, but like movies nowadays do shit like that all the time, where it's like, let's introduce this family for 5 seconds, and then just have them fight a bunch of people, and then people will be all over it 'cause it's Game of Thrones.
No.
Fuck Game of Thrones.
No. No.
Yeah.
You shut your whore
It's
filth
a
mouth.
horrible, evil universe
No.
where people get eaten by dogs. I don't
No.
want to watch. I don't want to be sad.
But like,
It's not. It's amazing.
It's not sad.
It's so
Everything
fucking
that I've seen is people horribly dying or being raped by their brother.
but like Hollywood.
I think the thing is that it's so
you didn't
human.
even say no. It's not.
But Hollywood,
It's so human.
But it feels like Hollywood culture now is like they just take something that's popular and they just take like the cliff notes of it and they just throw it at you, and then they're like, why aren't they emotionally invested? They're emotionally invested in this other thing. It's because this one takes its fucking time, and you're just like,
watered it down.
yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of like what this does, where like the cuts in these feel really fucking out of nowhere. There's a lot of like, it's just like, hey, we found this, and then it's like, now they're
Now
on
we're
a
in the
plane in the middle of
Sahara.
nowhere,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, okay, we found out where this is. And then it cuts to Italian. Like, they're in the middle of the desert with no transportation and no communication.
No shit.
Cut to, we're in an Italian city and we're fine. Like, what? Where did you come from? How did you get there?
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe. Come on, Cotton Eye Joe.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't get.
Like, there's just so much. They just do cuts where it's like, oh, you know, you get it. Like,
Yeah, at least Indiana Jones had the plane on the side or whatever. They jumped out of a moving plane without
Granted,
any
they're
like,
superheroes.
hey, we'll see you later.
But yeah, I guess. What my big question was that Mira had like a total like green scaly cat suit up until she gets in the plane.
Oh, God.
Where then she's like wearing Anthropology and she's got some Sam Edelman boots on.
I have a
And
theory.
I'm like, what? Where did you get those things?
I have a theory that shirts and pants are illegal in Atlantis. You have to only wear full body suits.
Oh my god.
Well, it's streamlined to get through the ocean.
Yeah.
No friction.
Yeah. Look,
Oh,
Michael
Troy.
Phelps.
if you're
Troy's
gonna
thought
wear a
about
top
this.
half, it's got to be connected to the bottom half. If you're in Atlantis,
Just want to point out the stupidity of the fact that she's wearing a tracker on her, and she changes everything else on her, but
Except
the
the tra-
fucking bracelets.
It was a gift. Why wouldn't you wear
From
a
your
gift?
from
enemy.
someone that she hates.
Technically her husband or betrothed.
Literally, it's just saying, well, women are so dumb that if you make it into jewelry, they'll wear anything. That's literally what it's saying.
It's so pretty.
It
Well,
wasn't.
when you put it that way, it sounds real bad. But
Yeah.
that's kind
She
of
literally-
what happens
she literally-
in this movie.
Literally what happens.
She betrayed her country to get away from the one man that gave her this piece of jewelry she's still holding.
She's still wearing it.
I
Like,
never
literally.
thought of it that way, but you're right.
And I mean, like, jewelry can be cumbersome. Like, if I'm going to do something where I know I'm going to be dirty, I'm not going to wear my fucking jewelry.
Well,
But yet she's still wearing this giant fucking pearl fucking dangly shit.
Listen, she was not dressed to do something action-oriented. She had, like, a flowing cardigan sweater on and
That is-
heels.
yeah.
So,
Well, don't tell that to what's-her-name in Jurassic World.
everyone told her that, so fuck that.
Yeah. And then she smite them by wearing heels in the next one.
Which
damn.
I didn't see, so in her face. Got her.
Got her.
Awful.
What else? I got my notes here. So I thought the de-aging effects, I'm going back to the beginning of this, were glaringly bad.
Yeah.
For Aquadad and Nicole Kidman.
They kind of look like mannequins a little
They
bit.
looked like action figures, like plasticky. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, he doesn't look like that, does he? Because you don't get to see him real in the very beginning. You're like, they do not have this as perfected as Marvel does.
Yeah, he was almost like smiling like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger from T2 at one point.
He had a big, huge mouth and
You're like,
teeth, and I'm like, what the
hey.
fuck? This can't be how he looks. Like, but then he would turn, and his profile would look okay, and I'm like, that's not... Did they put petroleum jelly on your face? And even
Are they gonna light you on fire pretty soon?
And then, yeah, it was just, it was like that weird uncanny valley where I'm like, skin shouldn't be that glossy. I don't think it is. He's not wet, is he? It is Aquaman, but I don't know.
Who is and isn't wet at this time?
That's-
Everyone's
Nicole
like looking
Kidman.
like Mrs.
I asked
Doubtfire
that
in the
at all
beginning of
times.
this.
Yeah. They just put the cake on their face.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Aquaman.
I'm Aquadad! Oh no, Atlanta! You've fallen in cake too! Hello!
Oh my god. Then they choose the like a white trashiest name for the Queen of Atlantis.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that was a bad choice.
Yeah.
Also-
Even like the king of Atlantis is like Atlanter or whatever. I can't remember what his name
Like
was.
older or like it began with like an O.
Olanta.
Olanta. Oh my Lanta.
Damn it, Joel.
God.
DJ. Take it back to Full House. But is it just me or did all of like the Atlantis foot soldiers look like Beetleborgs?
I actually couldn't tell the difference between the very beginning where the pirates came in their gear from the Atlanteans. I thought they
Well,
looked very similar.
One was white and one was black.
I
And
don't
there's this
see color,
ongoing
Molly.
criticism on race.
I thought they looked pretty similar. And like I wasn't a huge fan of those suits either.
No, they look like Power. They look like the Power Rangers from the fucking
Reminded
from
me
Power
of
Power
Rangers.
Rangers
Halo.
movie. Yeah.
From what?
Halo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looked like Halo, yeah.
That makes sense.
And then, okay, so they've evolved. So what's up? So like some of them can breathe underwater, out of water, and
only
some
the 1%.
can't. And then, Jesus Christ, yeah. Here we go, man. It's going to a class war.
only the royal blood can like breathe air
yeah,
and water.
because then there was that one scene where it's like that Ocean Master, like they did a thing where like they separated the water from him, and it looked like he couldn't breathe.
And then he
But then
threw
at the
up
end, he
water.
fights him.
yeah.
I on the surface,
Right.
and he doesn't look like he can't. Like it looks like he can breathe.
Well, he would be of like royal heritage, so he should be able to breathe.
But then what's up with the scene where he looked like he couldn't breathe when they fucking separated the water from him?
Why?
There's so much shit where it's like oh.
You mean
well,
when
I'm
like
breathing.
Mara put him in that like water?
Yeah, like he was
Or
fighting
vacuum?
when he was fighting Aquaman, and then he was about to beat him, and then Mira like separated the water from it, and he was like doing this whole like choking thing.
Oh yeah, where he didn't like he like puked up a bunch of water, but like he didn't like die.
I don't
or
know, it looked like
anything.
he was like choking, and then the water came back around him, and then he was fine. Where it's like, oh, so he can't breathe. Oh, that's cool. So like he's like this all powerful thing as long as there's water around him, and then at the end he comes up to the surface and he's like almost just as powerful. So it's like, oh, okay, so that means
Doesn't
nothing.
matter. Yeah.
So this means nothing.
Why do some of them have these extra powers and some of them don't?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
It seemed really confusing to me.
I think in the books, like, Mira learns how to do, like, water magic or something. I'm not a big Aquaman
Water
reader.
Yeah.
magic.
Like I
Yeah.
thought it was like might be like a royal thing, but then so Mira's dad is Dolph Lundgren,
Yeah.
but he's never doing any of like the water magic shit.
No.
So then it's like, okay, so he's just a lazy piece of shit that doesn't want to do his water magic.
He doesn't really seem to do much of anything.
Yeah, he just kind of sits there with his hair blowing in the water, being like,
Water
okay,
wind.
yeah,
Some people
Okay,
call it
Patrick
currents,
Wilson,
I call
I'll
it
listen
water
to you.
wind.
yeah,
Water wind.
water wind.
Yeah, but the only two people that really have other abilities is like Aquaman and Mira. Mira
Yeah.
can control water, and Aquaman can talk to fish.
Yeah. And then I don't know. So much of the shit
God
is
damn.
just. Molly's already drank almost an entire bottle of wine.
And I'm gonna start working on number 2 here soon.
Woo wee
I
wee.
don't know where I'm gonna get number 2
yeah.
from, but
What I did enjoy about this movie, though, is that it got to a point where it was actually really colorful, and for like a DC movie to actually jump in there.
Yeah,
like,
it
Wonder Woman
was.
did it when they're on Themyscira, which was great.
Yeah.
But then when it got into like the real world, it was bleak and kind of ugly.
Yeah.
This was like bright and colorful, like a good majority of it. But I would say though, when it's not, it's like very dark. And it's like
Yeah.
hard to, and maybe it was just the theater that I was at.
Yeah.
But I thought like a lot of the beginning was pretty dark and muddy looking, and I couldn't really see
have
what
you
was
been
going
to
on.
Maine?
I could honestly say no, so I could be just tricked.
But they did
That's
some
what it
cool
looks
stuff
like.
where it's like like I wish they would go into more detail about some of their cooler stuff, because they did like a whole thing where it's like Aquaman could see in the dark because like the life forms kind of give off like a light.
A bioluminescence. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
so that was cool, but they never really explained it. It's like, oh, I can see underwater, and then they do like a whole thing where like all the life forms are giving off light. It's like, oh, that's cool, and then it's just like, so yeah, that's the thing. Next.
Yeah, that didn't bother
But
me.
I mean,
if they
that
just
mean,
glossed
yeah,
over it.
yeah. Like, I mean, it was cool for like, oh, like I caught on to it. That was kind of cool. And then, but then they go into more detail about things I could care less about.
You can swim like fast and shit.
I really feel
Yeah.
like all of Willem Dafoe's character could have been cut from this movie because, like, I don't
Pretty
really
much.
care about him being trained as a kid. I would like just to have him be like rough around the edges, never learn how to fight except for like in a bar or something.
Yeah,
and
and-
he goes up against like a king.
Yeah, and all of like
Or
Willem
even just his
Dafoe's.
dad teaching him, for fuck's sake. I could see more of like dad wanting to preserve mom's memory by showing him the way of the trident.
Yeah.
Or it's even like, hey son, you ever hit a bag? Just like punch a bag at the
Yeah.
bottom of a lighthouse.
Just fucking Matt
shoot
Murdock's his
Taraki.
ass.
But even just like them going to like bars and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like he gets in bar fights and that's how
Yeah,
he
it
learns
gets
how
a
to
bar
fight.
fight. Yeah, like that's what like sets him apart from like the traditional fighter when he
Yeah.
goes down into the ocean.
Yeah, I thought that'd be a pretty good like juxtaposition between
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because all of
Ooh.
Willem Dafoe's shit was just weird. Like all of his like cutscenes were just like, this is gonna come back. Like his whole like trident twirl thing where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I bet he's gonna
Dear
use that at the
God.
end.
Who cares?
Fucking Christ.
Yeah. Just give him a good haymaker. Everyone loves a good punch
Yeah.
to the face.
Yeah, we're like have it where it's like Patrick Wilson is like using his fucking trident in this weird like majestic way, and then he just
Right.
comes over and just punches him in the face.
Yeah,
That seems much
just-
more Momoa.
it does. Like, just tackle him, punch him in the face, put the trident to his neck, and say, yield, bitch. And then, like, that'd be great. And then just, like, pound a beer, and then throw a tomahawk into a bullseye.
Oh yeah.
You know, just like Momoa does. That's his life.
Yeah, like Momoa.
Did anyone realize that there's a Pitbull track in this movie?
Oh my god. And I had read online that he did that.
And then forgot, and then heard it, and you're like, fuck, I forgot about this.
Literally.
I will
exact
say
reaction.
the soundtrack to this is
All over the
fucking
place.
atrocious.
Oh my god.
I think the score is good. I think the soundtrack is bad.
Sometimes there's moments where the score is decent, but even the score sometimes is just like this movie is nonstop playing music to the point where it's like even when it doesn't know what to do in terms of the score, it just plays like doo 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 whoop boom. Where you're like, you don't need to play this dumb horse shit Three Stooges shit. Just
Play
like
me out, Charlie.
I can't pull out any
there was
moment
like
where they ever did that.
when it's like big, majestic, and epic. Yeah, the score is pretty decent, but then there's like times where it's like Mira and Aquaman are walking through the desert, and it's like doo 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 doo.
I think that's a
Is this
bit of
fucking-
an over-exaggeration.
Oh no, it's not even an over-exaggeration. Go back and watch the movie. It's literally like that fucking stupid. Like there is some
think it
shitty ass score in this. And then the points when they don't have score, they fill it in with like horrible pop songs, like that fucking Pitbull song.
I do agree that the pop music that they put in this is oddly placed. And that Pitbull song is atrocious, and it was
Terrible.
written for this movie.
The Sahara isn't even in Africa, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is
Sahara's
it?
in Africa.
I
Yeah.
thought the Sahara was like... I'm looking it up. I don't believe you.
In Russia?
No, like the Middle East.
Siberia.
Well, it's
Nice.
close to
I
that
bless the
area.
rain.
The Sahara's
Okay.
very big.
Oh wait, no, it
Siberia.
is in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, they could play that Pitbull song. They had to go to Sahara.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to point that Pitbull thing out.
But no,
The
like,
fact that they did not play Barracuda is...
yeah, that was Molly's thing. She wanted
I
a
was
whole
so
like
angry.
Thor part when they're like fighting in the ocean at the end
Okay,
with
but it
Barracuda.
makes much more sense for them
That's
to play
kinda sweet.
Barracuda
Yeah,
for that
that'd be
than
sweet.
it does
Where like
for
he
Thor.
like when fucking Aquaman comes out of the fucking ground with this weird like the ocean fucked itself monster
Yeah.
to like Barracuda and then just like fucking everybody up. Yeah.
Yeah,
That monster at the end was like the ocean just got together and just blew a load in a volcano. There's like it's like an octopus crab,
It's a catch-all. of
hammerhead
everything.
shark, like
Yeah.
made of rocks.
It's like they were trying to make the Kraken, but like missed.
It should have just been on like the Kraken.
Yeah, just make it the Kraken.
Because when it was introduced, it was all just like this tentacle-y thing.
Yeah.
It's like, just make it the Kraken.
Just
Why
say it's
wouldn't
the
you?
Kraken.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Everyone
there's
knows the Kraken.
so many
And
times-
you should release it from time to time.
There's yeah, have Liam Neeson release it.
just cut in the scene
Yeah.
where it's like, release the Kraken.
I
And
hope-
not have it defeated as
Dude,
fucking easy.
I hope that's the first words out of Liam Neeson's mouth before he has sex.
Holy shit.
But yeah, there's so many times in this movie where people just like mutter words and then they like have this big pause where like you're supposed to fucking give a shit. Where it's just like, we're going to go into the moat of blah blah blah, blah. And then it's like,
We're going to the trench.
we're like, what? I don't get this. Like, in order to get the trident, you need to defeat Muhammad Ramazaban. What? And what? Who? I don't even know what that is. There's so
Ocean
many times-
Master.
Yeah. Call me Ocean Master.
Damn.
I am Black Manta.
It literally is like a skit from Family Guy.
I really enjoyed the Black Manta parts, to be honest.
Really?
I did, because I thought it was weird that he pretty much is in his father's footsteps, which was his grandfather's footsteps of being just a pirate. But, like, if that's his life, that's his life. Anyway, I'm getting over the fact that, like, that's what's going on. But I also like the fact that Aquaman didn't save Black Manta's dad because he's a piece of shit. It's like, you killed all these guys.
Yeah.
Fuck you, bro. I'm getting out of here. Save yourself.
But then his
I
whole
kind of
thing
like that part. So it made a good revenge story for Black Manta.
But then his whole thing at the end was like he was feeling guilty where he was like, man, I didn't save this guy's dad. And now he's out for revenge and now people are getting hurt because of me. It's like, Motherfucker was killing people before he even wanted revenge against you.
Yeah, but I still think that's a clever motivation. Like, it's not like a...
It's literally the plot of every Batman story ever.
But no, it works.
But it's a motivation that only affects...
It does too work.
It's a motivation that only affects him. But he's like taking it on himself where it's like, all these people are getting hurt because of me, and because Black Manta wants to kill me. And it's like, Black Manta was going to kill a whole bunch of other people without getting revenge on you. You just happen to be in his crosshairs while he's killing other people. So why is it such a big deal? He was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's always been a piece of shit. And you're taking it upon yourself where it's like, man, I shouldn't have killed his dad because now he's killing more people.
Well,
it's
technically...
like, then him and his dad would be killing people. They'd probably be killing twice as many people because they're both pieces
Father
of
and son
shit.
killing spree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They were killing people before they even wanted revenge on you.
Well, regardless.
Like, if he made Black Manta based on his actions, sure. But he was a piece of shit before he met Aquaman. So then it's like, there's no reason to be like, oh man, Aquaman fucked up. He shouldn't have let his dad die. It's more like, there's one less person to be killing all these people. Because that's his whole fucking logic, is that more people are dying because I let his dad die.
can we also discuss the, insertion of, the weapon of, here, I'm gonna pass this down to you. Let me quickly tell you the origin story of this knife.
Of this
that
knife
you
that makes
would
no
not
fucking difference.
fucking know.
Yeah. If the knife would have, stabbed Aquaman in the heart at one point, maybe it would have been better, but it didn't ever do anything.
It just went into a hole he made with another blade.
Yeah.
It was literally date night, or game night, with a knife went in his other hole.
Yeah, because, after he got, the Black Manta lasers, that was all the game. That was
I also love the random montage of him building his suit.
See, I love the campiness because Black Manta is a ridiculous looking character.
No.
But I love the design of it because it's so ridiculous, and I really appreciate it.
I enjoyed the campiness of that. Towards the end of it, I just looked at it as a bad 80s movie, because it just kind of gave me that feel. I know you're saying that 80s movies were better, but it felt like they were trying to channel into that vein of just pure ridiculousness, and I did enjoy the campiness of that montage.
I want this to be campy for me to like it, but this is campy in the sense that so much of this is just exposition about shit I could care less about, with a random thing where it's but it's campy because of this scene. It's like when we were in middle school and our math teacher would have these boring lectures, but every once in a while he would play the Mickey Mouse movie.
Yeah.
Where it was oh man, this class is boring as fuck. But then the one time they give you something where it's see? We're fun. It's
Plus, that math teacher was real mean.
And he was kind of an asshole. But I think that's
probably a great guy.
That's what this movie's trying to get away with. It's all this boring exposition to feed to all these nerds that know about Aquaman, and then throw in a scene here and there where it's but we're having fun. It's a fun movie.
It was weird because there were points where it couldn't pick a lane. I wish it would. I don't know, because it is very Arthurian in where it's at. Very Hamlet, Arthurian. His name was fucking Arthur.
Yeah.
And he's the fucking the precursor to the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
pulls a sword from
if this movie wanted to be the lighter, campier DC movie, they needed to simplify the fuck out of itself and
not
just
try to put 6 plot threads in a movie.
Yeah, and try and play up to the things that make it fun. But instead they also try to throw in all of the fucking folklore of Aquaman on top of but here's a fun scene where you're man, I feel I have to sit through a bunch of lectures to get to something that I like.
Yeah, well, that's one of my criticisms of it, is that it doesn't really fully do anything.
No.
It mostly finishes the Ocean Master arc, kind of. It leaves it kind of open because sequel bait or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish that they did just do a fun globe-trotting Indiana Jones adventure and on his tails, or who they're trying to chase is like Black Manta. To
Yeah,
make it
like
a
Black
fun, campy adventure.
Yeah, have like a Black Manta's on their tail as they're trying to get this trident.
To get like the trident.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That'd
like,
be perfect. They
but
didn't
then-
even they didn't even have like that first battle between him and King Orm or whatever his name is.
No.
That first battle, it was like that was such a fucking waste. 'Cause
Yeah.
they were just like watching them fight each other in the most CG of fuck places.
Yeah.
Where like they're just floating in the water, like throwing each other around. Where you're like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like,
It was just to show how formidable Ocean Master is against Aquaman.
Yeah.
So he can defeat him
before he can
at the
put on
second time.
his weird fin helmet at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's how he looks in the book, so they had to do it. They had to put on his weird metallic mask that can move somehow.
Yeah, that somehow like
it didn't
bends
okay.
to his eyebrows.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's technology. It's a
Yeah,
catch-all.
technology. That's he can breathe
Technology.
underwater, and he can
Yeah.
also has
Boom.
elements that form to his head.
Anything else anyone want to bring up before we close it out?
I feel like there was something else that I wanted to say.
Is it in that second bottle of wine?
I don't know. It might be. Might be in the nap that I need now.
Yeah.
All in all, criticisms is, like, even included, like, they did try to do a lot in this movie. I did like a few characters. I like Momoa. I liked Aquadad. I did
Aquadad.
I did like Patrick Wilson in this. I thought he was good for his role. I still had fun with the movie, regardless of what I did not or did not like, because I can pick things apart all the time. But like, I still had fun with the movie.
I would say out of the characters that were kind of deadpanning it, Patrick Wilson was probably the better one out of the ones that were there. But everyone is everyone's so deadpan. I just wanted somebody to show some sort of emotion that wasn't, we must complete the mission.
Yeah.
Everyone is like mission face the whole time.
I get that. Right.
Like, Ocean Master had a secret longing to be human or some shit.
He would
Yeah,
never
like there
want
was
that.
a scene where Momoa or like Aquaman was like, "Dude, you're my brother. Like I genuinely wanted to meet you. Like I kind of like you." And where I was like, "Man, that kind of like brings that whole sibling thing to roost or whatever, like to really like bring that in." And instead of like having like a human moment where Patrick Wilson was like, "Yeah, you're like my brother. Like we should get together." He was like, "My father destined our mother to be killed, and I blamed you for it." Or I'm like, just show like you don't have to be a fucking dickhead the whole time. Like, show like some of that little bit of humanness to you, where it's like,
But they're not human, Joel. They're aqua people.
well, some
Aquamans.
sort of like feeling where it's like you can see he feels the same way. Where it's like he is kind of torn by like, yeah, you are my brother. Yeah, I do want to get to know you, but our culture has this thing where like I need to take certain measures to make sure you don't take my throne. Like something like that. Something that shows that he's more than just one dimension. Everyone is so one-dimensional and so set on one goal, and their entire personality is that one goal. Where it's like, show that Willem Dafoe actually does want to stay true to Atlantis, but he just doesn't believe in Patrick Wilson's goal. But they never show that. It's just like, okay, yes. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, you found that I'm not doing this? Well, then I'm not doing this now. Just show, like, things where people actually have dimensions of their character as opposed to you are what your goal is in this movie.
Yeah, but I mean, even for that as an example, like, for him to be able to make that even work, if you can cut all of his parts out of the movie and it still wouldn't change it, like, I don't think that means anything for Willem Dafoe's character.
Yeah, and this movie's fucking 2.5 hours long.
It is,
God.
and it doesn't need to be.
Literally got to 2 hours, and I looked at my watch, and I'm like, "Fuck!" They
Yeah,
don't even have the trident
just
yet.
leans over like, they don't even have the fucking trident yet.
God damn it!
Yeah, 2.5 hours is a bit bloated. Like, that, even for any movie, I'm still like,
Yeah,
holy fuck.
all for like a big CG fuckfest with a bunch of
Ugh.
like sea animals. Where I'm like,
It literally just made me long for Lord of the Rings.
See,
Because they
fuck Lord of the
gear
Rings.
up this giant. You hush your mouth.
I don't like any of that shit. Like,
What is your goddamn problem,
I just
man?
find it so fucking droll and
Oh
boring.
my god!
All
It's
of your
so
arguments
fucking
against
amazing.
Aquaman, I have against Lord of the Rings. That's like,
Yeah, but then that's why I'm like surprised. Like you think this is fun because so much of this reminded me of the most boring parts of Lord of the Rings. Like without the stuff that was fun.
what parts are fun in Lord of the Rings?
When he takes down the goddamn elephant! God!
Fucking cares?
That was the first. That still only counts as one. God damn!
There's all it's like this movie. Like Aquaman is just like all the politics of Lord of the Rings that I'm like almost sleeping through, and none of like the fun live action fighting. It's all
Yes.
CG and so
Yes.
like
I'm
every time
so
they like
sick of
really
CG.
CG the fuck out of a fight scene, it doesn't even feel like gravity exists.
They are in water.
Oh, they're in water, but it's like even then, it's like nothing really like nothing like any punch or any kind of like kill does not really feel like it has any kind of gravitas to it. It's just, oh, that happened. Oh, that
Bless you.
happened. Like nothing,
bless you.
nothing feels real.
God bless you.
Sorry.
Like nothing feels real, and like that whole like CG, like sea creature fight scene at the end, it was just like, oh, okay, they're just kind of they're like swimming a bunch of fake sharks at each other.
I enjoy it more than the end of Venom, where it was just a big CG slop fest.
Yeah, at least you could tell what this CG shit was, as opposed to just being CG shit on top of CG shit.
Yeah. Anyway, should we grade it up?
Sure.
Give it a grades?
Sure.
Excuse me. Had a little burp. Anyone want to go first? Reveal their hand?
Yeah.
I'll give it a
Aces and eights.
C plus.
C
Okay.
plus? Wow, you're way more. I'm gonna give it a C minus because this fucking minus the few characters I liked and the few scenes that I liked, I was kind of bored through most of this.
I would give it a B minus, probably. In fact, I'll stick with a B minus.
All right.
If she gave it a C plus, I know I enjoyed it more than her, so I'm gonna have to go with B minus.
See, you ruined it, Molly. Way to go.
I did end up having fun with this. I know Chelsea didn't like it when we came out, but I'm like, this isn't her shit. She didn't need to go to this. She wanted to support me and my habits. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. They did try to cram a lot in this 2.5 hour movie.
Too much.
2.5 hours, and they still tried to cram a lot.
2.5 hours too much.
Yeah.
But I thought at the end of the day I had fun with it, and I probably would see another one. I would say you can go to the theater to see this, but I would probably say go to a matinee.
Yeah, don't spend more money than you have to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fault people for it. I mean, this is probably people's more bag than mine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all of the shit where they're just trying to explain a bunch of shit, I'm just, okay, whatever. I'm out of this.
I like it when you're like, I just don't understand it, and they try to explain it to you, and you're like, I don't want to listen.
Well, it just, they talk to you like you're dumb. Like, there was no, like, middle line of, like, well, we're just gonna kind of fill in a few ideas here. It was either straight comic book nerd or, well, you see, honey, there was a big boom because of technology.
Like, I feel like this is like my first day of history class, and then the history teacher was like, and then the Civil War happened. And then I'm like, wait, is that a big deal? I don't know, is it? You should know. I don't fucking...
To just jump back to that, like, Atlantis sinking whole thing, they could have just said, like, Atlantis, like, existed 10,000 years ago, and through a war it sunk, and then we evolved into fish people. Like, in more elaborate
Literally
ways than I
anything
just
else.
said. But, like, all you have to say, everyone knows Atlantis sinks. Just say, through a great war, Atlantis was sunken into the ocean, and through that we became its inhabitants.
Or
in
it
the
could have
ocean
just
or
be like
whatever.
when Earth was formed, like there was people that lived underwater that formed in like the sea evolved the same way the
No.
Earth did, where we evolved human beings underwater.
But there's a big...
because that's not
That's not
the plot of
Atlantis.
Atlantis. Atlantis was initially written by Plato. Like, it has been around for fucking ever.
Yeah, I know, but their description's dumb.
Their description is dumb.
At least try and, like, if you want to do, like, the evolutionary thing of it, make it where it's like, okay, people, like, the ecosystem above water is the same as the ecosystem below water, and people also evolve underwater as compared to people evolving over the water.
Yeah, that's fine. They didn't need this whole thing where it's like,
we're
Wakanda, but wet.
Yeah. So, like, we were a city, but we sunk, and then technology blew up, and now we can breathe underwater.
Yeah.
The end. I don't fucking care.
That sounds too far-fetched even for me, and I said to go see this movie. So.
I think my main thing is just, like, once they introduce something that dumb, then I just kind of, like, go blank.
Yeah,
like, I don't
like,
just get... Then the rest of what you're gonna say to me is dumb, so I don't care anymore.
Did the technology cause, like, instant mutation, or did everyone die?
Yeah,
and
who knows?
Let's stop thinking about this.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you want to join us on social media, do so at ReviewReviewPod on Twitter. If you happen to be a Facebooker, do that at ReviewReviewPod on Facebook. You can find us at our host site at reviewreviewpod.podbean.com, but you don't have to listen to just there. We are also on a multitude of platforms such as Google Podcasts, Alexa devices, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. If you happen to be an Apple user, rate and review us there, because if you like the show, that helps other people find the show as well. If you want to write in, do so at reviewreviewpod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening again. We'll see you next time.
And we're off.